Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's mykenyanpuff, and today I want to share a few tips on how I maintain my twist out definition. Usually my twist outs last anywhere from 4 to 5 days. And they look pretty good by day 5, and people are always asking me how I do that, so I'll just give you my tips. Some of them I already gave in my most recent twist out tutorial, my updated defined twist out tutorial, which you can check out over here. So I'll be repeating some and then also adding a few more tips that have worked for me. So the first tip is practice, practice, practice. I've been doing twist outs almost exclusively since I went natural, so of course by now I'm used to the motion. I can do it in my sleep. My hair has gotten the memory of this is how a twist out should work, so at this point I do not get failed twist outs because I've just been doing it over and over again. So if you're new to being natural or you're new to twist outs, don't do it once or twice and you're like, this thing just doesn't work for me. Just keep doing it and you'll get better. You'll also be able to understand what your hair likes in terms of the products you use, and with time, also with increase in length, you might start to prefer how your twist outs are looking. My next tip is to do small to medium sized twists. I usually do small to medium sized twists for two reasons. One, I keep the twists in for some time, and also it tends to give me better definition than chunkier twists. So I highly recommend doing smaller twists if you want better definition. Now my third tip, which is tied to the second tip, is that I do leave my twist in for a couple of days. I'm not saying you have to leave your twist in for a week to get definition. I do that because it's part of my low manipulation regimen, so I'll tend to leave my twist in for about 5 days, like Monday to Friday, and then I'll rock the twist out over the weekend. Or I'll actually keep the twist in for over a week, maybe rock a wig or a turban, and then rock the twist out for the remaining period of time. This also helps me to stretch out my wash day, but it's also good in terms of definition because it really helps the coils to just hold in place. And because my hair is kinky and it tends to hold styles very well, then keeping the twists in longer gives me much better definition. Now my next tip, which again I believe you saw in my twist out tutorial, is I don't fluff or separate on day 1 at all. And I know I've watched so many twist out tutorials and I'm always seeing them fluffing and picking out their hair so that day 1 hair looks so nice, but me, I'm just there with my flat hair and I'm committed to it because I know that my hair does get better with the days. This is a day 2 twist out and it is significantly bigger than my day 1 twist out, and by day 3 and day 4 are usually my favorites because my hair now has fluffed out. When I'm fluffing it in the morning, it starts to naturally separate, and so it does get bigger as the days go by. Again, this is entirely up to you, but this is what works for me in terms of keeping my twist outs defined for a longer period of time. Number 5 is that I don't remoisturize on a daily basis. Now this is not advice I'm giving. I have low porosity hair, which means that my hair doesn't get dry very quickly. Actually, it can retain moisture comfortably for about 5 days before I have to remoisturize. And since I'm keeping in my twists for about 5 or so days, I like to remoisturize when my hair is in twists as opposed to now when I rock my hair out, so that I remoisturize on like day 5, take my twist out the following day, and then by the time my hair gets dry again, my twist out is already worn out. So I'll either be washing my hair or I'll be remoisturizing and restyling. So that's what works for me. If you do choose to remoisturize daily out of the need or the preference to, then I recommend maybe doing some chunky braids or chunky twists nightly. I know many people, that's their regimen. I know people can't just go without retwisting at night, but I don't retwist at night. I just wear a bonnet, wake up and fluff and go, and that has worked for me. My next tip, which I've mentioned before, is to make sure you use a product that gives you both moisture and hold. And if you don't have a product that gives you the hold but it does give you the moisture, then feel free to just add a thin layer of gel and that's what I was doing before I found a product that gives me both. So for me, my curling cream, the Cantu curling cream at this point, works really well for me. My hair doesn't poof up, even though it does have humectants in it. So when you're looking at the ingredients of your product, humectants are ingredients that draw moisture from the atmosphere. So if the atmosphere is humid, then they will draw moisture in and make your hair poof up and, you know, soak up the moisture. But in a dry environment, they will actually suck the moisture out of your hair. So that's very important to remember. So they can work for or against you. And in common humectants to look out for in your products include honey, glycerin, propylene, butylene, and there's another Eileen. Hexylene glycol, which is a synthetic humectant. There's also panthenol, which is also called provitamin B5. We have lecithin and aloe vera, among others. I'll maybe find a link of a list of humectants. So if you do find humectants, then you know that maybe chances are, if you're in a humid environment, that your twist out will poof up fast. So if you really like that product because it does give you moisture, you can always add a layer of gel, or when you seal in with an oil that's an anti-humectant, maybe like shea butter, castor oil, a thick oil, will tend to sort of prevent the freezing up that could happen. Finally, in terms of maintaining my twist outs, there's really nothing I do in terms of my nighttime routine. I will just wear a bonnet over my head, and the next morning with some oil in my hands, I'll just fluff and then style it if I want to change it up. Like now I just put a pin to the side and then go. It's really that simple. If I do feel like it's super dry or just needs some life, I will spritz with some aloe vera juice and then follow up with the light oil on my hands. And really that's it. For those who will benefit from this, I do hope that it has helped you. Always remember that your hair is your crown. Embrace it, love it, and take care of it. God bless you all. Goodbye.